Hello and welcome to episode 42 of the Statesmanship Project. In this episode, I want to take a brief foray into the socio-sexual hierarchy. I'm not going to be talking about anything revolutionary or groundbreaking. If you want to learn about the socio-sexual hierarchy, please visit voxday.net and look for it there. He's the creator or developer of the hierarchy. I just want to touch base on some things that I have found useful that often trip people up within the hierarchy. Or regarding the hierarchy. The first thing you have to understand is that the socio-sexual hierarchy is a measuring device in a lot of ways. It's very similar to like a ruler. So the 12-inch mark on a ruler is not superior to the 11-inch mark or the 10-inch mark. So there's no status seeking based on your ranking within the hierarchy. The hierarchy is merely a descriptive tool designed to help you understand your place within social sexual dynamics of men. This is another thing to keep in mind. It is about men only, so women, you do not fall into the hierarchy. This is for men only. Next thing to understand, it is a descriptive tool. So there's no status seeking within it. It is simply there to observe and describe behavior. Women, you can find this extremely useful if you're in a professional environment with men, because then you can understand the dynamics of the office environment. You can determine if your boss is truly an alpha, or if he is a bravo, or if he is a delta, or in a lot of cases, he's a gamma. My wife has found this extremely useful. What you need to understand about the socio-sexual hierarchy is that it describes people's behavior. People really don't have much control over where they fall in the hierarchy unless they take a lot of control over their behavior. Now, if you are status seeking within the hierarchy, chances are good you're a gamma. Being a gamma is not good. Being a gamma is annoying. It is confounding, and it is dysgenic, so don't be a gamma. If you are a gamma, the best you can hope to do is a delta. And again, for a more clear understanding of all of these relationships, I suggest voxday.net. However, I'll give you a brief rundown. Alpha is the top of the hierarchy. They are the leader. They're at the top because they basically tell everybody else what to do. Bravo is the lieutenant to the alpha. They follow and execute the alpha's orders. Delta, these are your ground troops. They basically do what they're told. They're there to do what they're told. This does not mean the integrity or this does not demean the integrity or value of any member of the hierarchy. It just means that people fill different roles, and they do it willingly. I mean, most men do just want to be told what to do and told they're doing a good job for doing it. They just want to be left alone to do their job, and that be that. Being an alpha is extremely stressful and difficult because you have to organize the direction of all of the members of your group, and then you have to be responsible for all of them. And yes, other men will look up to you and possibly aspire to be like you, but as an alpha, it comes with a tremendous amount of responsibility, unless you're a douchebag, which is possible. Now, people will status seek, particularly gammas will status seek to be alphas because they think they're alpha capable, and they want to get all the perks of being an alpha, which is really just the higher level women. And of course, that's not how it works, but gammas don't understand this. That's what makes them a gamma. So towards the bottom of the hierarchy, you have gammas, which they fall down there because they're not particularly useful to the execution of the tasks. They can be very high functioning, but if they don't break their gamma tendencies, they will undermine and undercut the alpha, which is bad for the group as a whole. And then you also have omegas, which are kind of outside the hierarchy, but not for lack of ability, but lack of desire. They are simply oblivious to social interactions in their entirety. They are just completely disconnected from everything. And they don't status seek, they don't really relationship seek, they don't even understand interpersonal or group dynamics. So they kind of end up outside the hierarchy. Lambdas are gays, and they don't fall in the hierarchy because they want to bang the alpha and not be the alpha. And then you have sigmas. And sigmas are typically people who are capable of being alphas, but for whatever reason don't want the responsibility of being alpha, which is very accurate because there's a lot of responsibility that comes with being an alpha. And sigmas are typically very high functioning, very capable of holding a high status, but often just want to do their own thing and do it at such a degree that other people can't keep up with them, and they don't want to be responsible for dragging everyone else up to their level. So they end up just going off on their own and doing their own thing. And if other people can hang, great. If not, no big deal. Next thing to understand is that the social sexual hierarchy is situational. So someone might be an alpha within a particular group dynamic, and they might be a bravo in another group dynamic, or they might simply be a delta in another place. And so you see this a lot. You know, maybe you are the CEO of a company, but then you go play on a company baseball team and you just want to play shortstop. No big deal. You know, you're not the team captain. But sometimes it's hard for alphas to not alpha. So maybe that's a bad example. Sometimes bravos have to be alphas. You see this in brotherly dynamics. So if you have a strong father, then the oldest brother will typically be a bravo to the father. If you have a weak father, then the oldest brother will become the alpha, and the younger brother will become the bravo to his older brother. And so that's how it's situational, but sometimes that bravo can then, in a different dynamic, be an alpha. And of course, within family, the man kind of has to be the alpha for his children. That's just necessary, even if you are not that anywhere else. And then the last point I think I want to make, and I will try not to make this too long, is the idea that status seeking is good. And you will see this a lot with, again, gammas, and I see this a lot on the internet now, because they used to try to be alphas, and then it got made blatantly obvious to them that they're not capable of being alphas. Now they want to be sigmas. Like, oh, I'm not an alpha, I'm a sigma, because they think that because nobody wants to follow them, but they are still alphas, therefore they're sigmas. It's like, no. People will still follow a sigma. They will look to a sigma for leadership. And the sigma's like, nah, I don't want that. A gamma wants to be a sigma because they can't be an alpha. And they think that, well, if I'm a sigma, I'll still have the status of an alpha even though people won't follow me. It's like, no, that's not what makes you either an alpha or a sigma. You are an alpha because people follow you and they look to you for leadership. You are a sigma because people follow you and look to you for leadership, but you demur on that role. You say, no thanks. I don't want that. I just want to do my own thing. Or if they do take a leadership role, they don't give a shit what their subordinates think. They are very effective leaders, but maybe not the most motivational. And so they don't typically explain their thoughts and their plans and their direction to their subordinates. They're just like, go do this, you go do that, you go do this. And the encompassing aspect of the entire plan is not very well laid out to everyone. And so sometimes the orders are not executed supremely. And so they might not encourage a lot of loyalty the way a true alpha would. However, being a sigma can be very lonely. You know, you don't have a lot of close friends. And, yeah, you might have a really hot wife, but you have to be content with doing your own thing and doing it your own way. You don't like to go along to get along. It does not go well for you. And so you either avoid people and just do your own thing, or you create your own thing, and if people follow you, great. If not, all well. But status seeking to be a sigma is just more evidence that you are in fact a gamma than if you status seek to be an alpha. Status seeking in general within the hierarchy is a gamma trait. Using the hierarchy to understand dynamics within people and within the nature of group dynamics, well, that's fine. Especially if you are like a delta and you want to figure out who your bravo is and who your alpha is, or bravos might be, and who your alpha is, and if there's something that you have to step up and do maybe, or if you just want to be left alone, you know who to look to just give you orders and direction. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Just to understand the dynamics. And being able to identify gammas is also very helpful in understanding the social sexual hierarchy. And being a gamma is kind of like being insane. You don't know you're insane, so if you question it, chances are good you're either mostly sane or completely sane. And so within the hierarchy, if you question whether or not you're a gamma, you may or may not be. You have the capacity to not be. But if you outright deny that you're not a gamma, you either fully understand the hierarchy and understand your behavior, or you completely don't and are in fact a gamma. These are my thoughts. Again, status seeking within the hierarchy is a gamma trait. We don't want to be gammas. Gammas undermine and undercut, and they run rampant on the internet. So anytime there's a troll, chances are good it's a gamma. So, I hope this has been helpful. I hope you find this information interesting, and hopefully I didn't ramble for too long. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, have a good day.